Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our Spordle online training series. In this episode, we're going to go over everything you need to know about setting up an online registration. Now, we encourage our members to sign up and create the registration online via the Spordle platform, but we also do provide the opportunity, if associations are still more comfortable with using Ramp, TeamSnap, or any third-party software, to import their players into a CSV and then also send those over to us so that we can get those uploaded within the system. Now, if you're opening up an online registration within the system, you're in the right place. We'll go over that today and how you can set that up. So first things first, to make sure that you're in the right season for your online store, you can go up to the corner and select whichever season you're looking to open up the registration store in. So the current store right now is going to be 2024, and then in 2025 it's going to switch over to be the current season. So if you're looking to open up registrations in 2025, make sure that you have 2025 selected. Now, if you're not in that current season, that's fine if this pops up. It's just letting you know this is the season you're in and it's not the current season, but you can still open up your registration and collect fees and do all that kind of stuff, even though it does give you that warning. So now that you have that all set up in 2025 or any season that you're going to create that registration for, you're going to start in your catalog. So within your catalog, the best way to do it is to start from the bottom up. So for the first one, it's going to be your installments. So within installments, you can select add and then add a title, and this will be any sort of payment installments to a family or a player and their registration fees. So you can ask for initial percentage of the fee. So when they upfront go to pay for their registration, they're going to be charged that percent, and then they're going to be charged in different installments. So you can set up whatever the value may be for future installments and when those installments will be taken out. Hit save and those will be added, and we can later on add them into the registration fee. On to discounts. For any discounts, currently Spordle has 2 different kinds of discounts that you can add. The multi-participant one is the one that most people will be using, and this will be for any family related discounts or any registrations that the same person is going to be registering 2 or 3 or multiple different players within. Now, when you're doing this, you can go ahead and add a title of what that discount's going to be, and then when you go to apply to a participant, the starting number 1 will be the first kid that's going to get the discount. The original kid that registered is going to pay the full price, and then the second kid that registered will be your first one that's going to apply to. So you're going to add number 1, and then you'll add the discount amount, and then you can add more. So you can go number 2, add the discount, and you can add as many as you want so that multiple participants are going to receive that discount. You can add a date when that will expire, and then you can set it to active or inactive. Obviously, you're going to want active if you're going to be using that discount. Hit confirm, and that will be added under your discounts. And going back up, we can add our terms and conditions. So this can be created, and you can customize it to be whatever you want it to be, but this will be mandatory to be added later on when you go in to create your online store. So make sure that you have some sort of terms and conditions created before you do go to create your online store. Then going into waivers, your waivers will be anything like social media consent forms, player code of conduct, or anything that you've developed for your association. And Baseball Alberta will be adding a few different types of waivers that you won't have to worry about it. They will automatically be attached to a membership fee in the future, so don't worry about that. But any specific waivers you want to add as an association, you can do that here by hitting add. Now you'll notice the first 2 check boxes are going to be mandatory and critical. So if you add a waiver as mandatory, that waiver needs to be answered during the registration process, but it won't prevent you from adding that player to a team. So that player can be added later. But if you add critical, that player will not be able to be added to a team in the future if that waiver is not signed. You can add the title, the description, the confirmation option, and then the decline option, and then hit add. Then moving on into the questionnaire, This is where you'll be able to create a custom information package for your members. So if there's information that you want to receive about apparel sizes, jersey numbers, things of that nature, this is where you'll add it. Within Spordle, there's going to be your main fees that are already answered with regards to name, date of birth, email, phone number, address, and all of that stuff's going to be collected. But this will be extra questions that you want to tag on to the registration. If I go in and hit add, we can title the form whatever we want it to be. We can title the section whatever we want, and then we can start adding questions. So within each question, you're going to have a few different options. So you're going to be able to select a long answer, check boxes, radio button, simple selection, multiple selection, date or time. And then we can just continue to create. For each of these sections, we can add a different description to add some more information about the question. We can make it admin only, which would be someone who works for the association is only able to answer this question. So that could be something that's private and needed to be answered by an association admin. And then you can also make the question required or optional so that they can skip it. Once you're done, you can hit create, and your questionnaire will then be able to be added into your online store. Then moving on, for clinic items, you won't have to worry about that. That will be managed to start from Baseball Alberta, and any other future communications or anything that changes, we'll make a video specifically on clinic items. Other items is a great feature that you can use to collect jersey deposits, different apparel, hats, or anything else that you'd like to add. Another thing that other items is really good for is if you want to open a winter camp or any specific registration that won't require a membership or a registration fee. So you could add all of your winter camp registrations within here and add a description of what the age groups are or what the time and date is for that specific age group. And then you can apply that to a online store, and you won't have to worry about collecting registration fees or anything like that. The player will just pay for the other item, which would be the camp, and then they can go from there. Then going on into your membership fees. Membership fees are a little bit complicated, and as an association, you won't have to worry about them too much. This is set up on the back end for Baseball Alberta, and you'll notice that each membership fee has a different amount, and each of these are attached to a different category and division of play. For the $10 one, it's going to be attached to any category that is a $10 membership fee to Baseball Alberta, and then so on. You will not have to fill in your own membership fees. You can collect your own association membership fees through your registration fee, and that'll work just fine. If we do go in here and mess things up, it'll change a little bit of the process for the registration fees. So within this area, we can just leave it the way it is. You won't have to touch or adjust anything within here. Then going into the registration fees, this is where you will add your registration fees for the year. So for example, if I wanted to add a 7U rally cap registration fee, I'm going to go add, create a fee, or I can roll it over from the previous season if I had one created last year. But let's assume this is the first time we're adding one. We can select our member type, which is going to be player. We can go into active. We can add available places, so how many players that you want it restricted to. And if you do restrict it, we can also add a waiting list once you've hit that number. You can also show remaining places when individuals are going in to register. And ask for position is very specific to position in baseball, so catcher, first base, second base. You likely won't have to ask that. If you do want to ask that, you should ask it within your questionnaire. And then moving down, we can go into our category. For rally cap, that's going to be 7U. And then moving down, we're going to go into our division. For rally cap, it's going to be 7U. But if you're selecting any other division, make sure you specifically select what that player will be paying for a membership fee to Baseball Alberta. So Baseball Alberta has a few different kinds of membership fees. Our main one for rep teams, which will be AA and AAA teams or Baseball Alberta Elite League teams, is going to be $80. So that'll say $80 under there. A community fee is going to be collected for every other player. So if you have players that are playing in the Provincial A, that's going to be a community fee. If you have players that are just playing in house leagues or recreational leagues locally and that are using Baseball Alberta insurance, that's what category they're going to be under, and that's the membership fee they're going to pay. So for example, Rally Cap, we're going to have a 7U division that's going to pay $10, and they're going to go under the Rally Cap Baseball Canada program. If you're doing 7U that's not Rally Cap, you can select 7U Community, which will be that general registration for Community League 7U player. Now, so if I select Rally Cap, I can adjust the minimum age. So some associations like to register kids as young as 4 years old for Rally Cap. You can make that adjustment, or you can keep it at the regular 6 to 7 age group. And then you can title it a name. You can select the activity season. So to include the membership fee to Baseball Alberta. So if this player is registering for that summer season, select regular season, and then the registration fee will be added here. So this will be directly sent to you as an association. This is just to show that the player will be invoiced for $10 for Baseball Alberta's membership fees. So that $500 total will be directly to the association up front, but in the future when Baseball Alberta sends out the invoices, this number is being tracked in the system so that we can correctly invoice based on the registrations that you have. Now, if you select a different activity season, so events, camp, or tryout, you can put in the registration fee and it won't attach the membership fee. So anything outside for a tryout or for camps, you can select camps or tryouts. For any fall ball registrations, you can select fall ball. For any academy or development seasons, you can select there, and it'll exclude the membership fees, so that won't be attached to the player. You can add an early or a late fee, and you can add what date it will be before, and then also a late fee, what date it will be after. And then scrolling down, here's where you'll add all your questionnaires that you previously created, any waivers that you created, or any installments that you created, and then you'll hit add, and that registration fee will be added. So now once that's done, we can head back into manage, online registration, and this is where we're going to create our online store. So if I select create new online store, I select the season that it's within. So if it's for 2025, I'll select that. I'll select the language. You will put the online registration name. You will put the registrar email address, whoever you want to be the main contact for the registration. You can add this checkbox to send an email with every single registration. So I suggest if you're just opening up and you expect a lot of registrants within the first few days, turn it off because you'll get thousands of emails. If you want to turn this on in the future when you get a lot less and you want to know when a player registers, you can turn that on after. Here you'll add the registration period, so when it's going to start, the time, the end date, when it's going to end, and the time, and then the activity season, so you can add regular season. Keep in mind, to add a registration fee, this will need to be the exact same as what you created for your registration fee, or this can just be left blank and the registration fees can be added after. And if it's a different activity season, you can add multiple different registration fees with different activity seasons applied to it. The confirmation message is going to be sent as soon as that player registers for the specific store, and an email will be also sent to them with the invoice and the confirmation message. So then going into your items and fees, you can add any registrations or you can add any other items, and you'll hit next. And for the other items, this is where you can only add camps if you'd like. So you don't have to add any registration fees. We can hit next and we'll go on to the next section. For terms and conditions, we can apply the terms and conditions. We can add any discounts, and then we can also add a merchant account if we have that set up. And then we can add any additional payment methods that'll be applied manually by us. So if you want everybody to pay through your merchant account, I would suggest not having these filled out. But if you would like to accept manual interact e-transfers, you can select that, or cash or check. Those are all can be checked off and then applied manually later on by the registrar. Once that's done, we can hit next. It'll give you a whole review on what you've done, added, and then we can go ahead and hit create online store. So once the online store is created, it'll show up under your online registration side. We'll have to go into it by selecting the blue, and then we'll have to go from draft and make it active. Now once it's active, the registration is going to be opened up, and if you go into here, you can see anything that's active, we can make them inactive. Same thing when you have a registration fee added, you can select it and make the status to be sold out or inactive. And then this is where you'll collect and see all the player registrations that are collected through your online store. You can also view any transactions that are made through the online store here, and this is where you'll apply anything that's paid manually and that you have to track yourself. To view your online store, you can select the little shopping cart here, and it'll open up that store on your Spordle page, and this is where the players and family members will go to register. If you want to copy that link, you can also put copy store URL, and then you can attach that to an email or however you communicate, and you can send that out to your membership. Now, one thing to note about the online store, if you are going to add manual registrations, they will not be collected within this online store. This online store is only going to be collecting players that registered through Spordle page on the online platform. For registering players manually, you'll have to go into a specific player. If they're already added in the system, you select them, you go into registrations, you hit add, and then through this section, we can go member type. If you want to add a player that's at a different age category, you can hit show all packages and then add the registration fee there. The price will automatically be added. You can hit next, go through all the next steps, and then that registration will be applied under here manually. If you need to register someone that hasn't been added to the system already, you can go to reports, scroll down to print registration form. This will open up a full registration form that you can send out to the player so that they manually fill out the sheet, send it back to you, and once you have that information, you can head back into your members tab. You can add the member and you can fill out all the fields. So the first question it'll have will be first name, last name, and birth date. That will do a full search within the system to see if the player is there. If not, you'll scroll down and find create new participant and then go through the fields that were provided by the player. Then hit add, and that player will be added as a member, and you can attach the registration fee to that player. Now, to capture the entirety of your registrations, you can head into reports and scroll down to registrations. Once you're in registrations, there'll be an overview summary of the registrations that you created. So if you select a registration type, registration fee, whichever one that you have added, you can select multiple at a time. Hit search, and this will give you an overview of sheer numbers of who is registered for what specific registration fee. If you want a more detailed report, you select actions, go to detailed report, and you can pull up registration specifics for each player. So make sure that you keep the online store blank. Select registration. Registration status can be confirmed and pending if you still haven't confirmed a few, or you can select canceled to see who's canceled, or select none and all of them will show up. You can go by division, and then you can select the registration fee drop down here, hit search, and it'll give you a detailed report of all the players that register. Now to export the report, you'll hit export and into an Excel. Now to make a custom report, and this will be good for narrowing down each specific field that is provided in a report, you can select new custom report, title it, add a description, select all the fields that you'd want to see in that report, scroll all the way down, hit save, and that report is going to generate every single time you go to search. So if I go to search, all the fields that I've checked off are going to be showing up on that report, and it's going to also be added on the side wherever I had that custom report created. If I want to get into every single report that I have, I'll go dashboard, and then I'll go into custom, and this will be all custom reports that I've created in the past. Now I can just go ahead and delete them if I'm not using them anymore, or I can open them to see what specific reports are going to be showing up. If you skip to this section, this is going to be going over how you can actually import your members and what the steps are for that. make sure you head over to our virtual handbook, which is handbook.baseballalberta.com, and then head over into resources, Spordle Handbook, and you'll be populated with this page. If you scroll down, the first section after the table contents will show you registration options. So if you're option 2 and you're selecting a third-party software to import all of the players, what you can do is scroll down and select the CSV template. You can open the template and provide all of your players on a spreadsheet with the exact fields that are within that spreadsheet. Once you have that spreadsheet completed, you can send that to media@baseballalberta.com, and we will get that imported so that all of your players will populate under your members tab. And then you can go and add them onto teams, which we will discuss in a future video. That should be it for registering players online. If you have any questions, make sure to reach out to the Baseball Alberta office or directly to me at media@baseballalberta.com. Thanks for watching.